Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Tom Robbins, and I want to thank everyone for attending. Today, I wanted to introduce Martin Hejtmanek, who is our CTO for Kentico, who's going to talk about our new features with 5.5R2. If you really haven't had a chance to look at it, we just released it for general availability. And it's a fantastic new release with a bunch of great enhancements to Kentico. And Martin has agreed to come and spend some time and talk with us about these new features. So without further ado, I am going to turn it over to Martin. Martin, are you there?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Tom. Hello, everyone. I would like to wish you good morning and good evening too, depending on the time zone you are in. And I was thinking about what I'll show you today and how I'll present the new features in 5.5R2. Before I do that, I want to explain you why we sort of moved from the versioning we had before, why this version is not called 5.6 or so. It's simply because this version can be seen as two purposes. One of them is sort of service pack for version 5.5 with all the bug fixes, all the things that are basically done better. And the other purpose of it is provide the whole new concept, whole new solution that you can use, and that solution is the internet. You can now use Kentico CMS out of the box for your internet sites without any complex programming. What we give you is basically an internet solution. I have to say, Kentico CMS as itself didn't change. It's still the same solution, it's the same qualities. We just provide the features for more view, for more projects, including internets. I know some of you already built internets on Kentico CMS. Now it will be even better. These are pretty much the main features of 5.5R2 that we introduced in this version. I wanted to cover them all because it depends on what you want to use. There are somehow all of them are important enough so you know about them. Of course, there are some small improvements, but this presentation will be about these features. We'll cover the internet as a solution as a whole. I'll show you new document library module, the web parts for document library that serve to basically manage the documents, the files from the live site, which is typical for internet. The WebDAV functionality, the WebDAV integration that allows you to basically edit your documents directly from your website directly without saving the document on your disk. You can open the document from your internet in the Microsoft Word application or any other WebDAV client, as you will see. Departments, it's also a module that provides you with new functionality. It helps you organize the company on the internet. It doesn't have to be the internet, but it's typical to be used on the internet. You can basically transform your company structure into the internet website, so they match each other. The work groups are very similar to what you maybe have seen in the community sites, on the community module features. They are very similar to that, but they are more focused on the internet things. They are connected with the next module, that is project management, which allows you to basically manage tasks, manage your projects in a simple way, basically see how the project progresses and basically make people responsible for what they do. And small but very useful functionality, we extended our workflow for with new options. So now you can use versioning, but without the need to go through workflow steps, without the need to go through approval. So if you look at the internet solution, what we provide you with the new version is a whole new sample site, but this sample site is different from the standard sample sites. This is a ready-to-use solution. You can install this internet solution, just change some data, match it to your company infrastructure, match it to your needs, and you can basically use this website as a ready solution for your internet. Of course, you'll probably want to just change the logo, maybe some styles, depends on your specific needs, but you can start with this without doing any work. So that's what is different. We provide this site with several style sheets because each company has different colors, so you'll be seeing several colors of this design during my presentation. Let me go to my browser. As I said, the solution itself is the same. You download the same setup, you download the same installer for all versions of Kentico, no matter if you are using, or if you will be using the internet, or if you will be using it for standard websites. So what is new? If you choose to create a new website, you have the new option of the internet portal, which is the ready-to-use solution for you for your internet. So you just import the website the standard way. In this case, I'll import it on the localhost domain. It doesn't matter if you do it from Site Manager or through standard setup. I'll just wait until it imports, and in the meantime, I would like to point some things. With this internet solution, we also provide the documentation for your end users. Basically, we give you the document that explains your end users, your company employees, how the internet works, what it contains, and what they can do with it. We call it Internet Users Guide, and let me just quickly check. I hope it's already linked in our documentation section. There you go. So the Internet Users Guide is focused on the end users. Basically, if you implement Internet, you give it to the company employees so they can read through it, learn which section means what they can do with it, how they can, for example, if they have the permissions, how they can manage their news and things like that. So that's sort of focused on the end users. What we are preparing at this time is the Internet Administrators Guide, which at this point is not yet ready. It will be ready in about 2 or 3 weeks. So at the beginning of the next year, the admin guide will be ready for you, and it will provide you with the detailed guide how you can customize your internet, how you can manage it from the administrator's point of view. Let's see, our website is ready, so I'll just open it. And let me open one more window for the live site. It is a clean installation, so it needs to compile, so we need to wait like 30 seconds or so. And just close the preview mode. Okay, so this is the site you get. It's a ready-to-use internet site, and this is where I'll be showing you the new features. So let's look at the features. The document library. The document library basically serves you to manage files from live site without the need to access the admin UI. And if you know the user contributions module, you may think it's very similar, but it isn't really, because user contributions is a very simple module that basically provides you with a way where public people can insert documents into a system. Document library is different. Document library is basically targeted to the files, to the documents as a files, like Word documents, PowerPoint presentations, things like that. And it provides you complete control over the files, including the security. So basically, for each file, it provides you the options to manage them, the options to basically go through the workflows of such files, and to manage their properties, permissions, rollback the versions, basically things that the management, the editing interface of CMS Desk allows you. What is important here, as I said, the WebDAV functionality. I'll show you both in one demo. So let's go to WebDAV. Within the document library, and of course within the CMS Desk, within the standard UI, you can use the WebDAV functionality. I have to say the WebDAV functionality is limited to Windows authentication only, which makes it suitable for internet webs. Because it's purely Microsoft-centric, it basically requires Windows authentication as sort of requirement. So what you can do, you can basically edit the files directly from your web UI within any application that can serve as a WebDAV client. You can typically learn whether the application is a WebDAV client or not in that application documentation. So typical example is the whole Microsoft Office package. And what is very useful, very nice, is the Paint.NET application. So you can basically edit your graphics through it. So let's see how it works. Here's my internet portal. Right now you can see I'm logged in as standard global admin. I could be logged in as any user that has the permissions to do things. But for now I'll be just logged in as global admin. If I go to document library as global admin, I have just any permissions to work with the documents, with everything. The document library works as basically a web part. You can put any number of document libraries on a single page. So in this case, we have 4 libraries on one page, each with different contents. And I can, of course, upload new documents. I can change the permissions for the entire library. The same access list, the same permissions that I can manage through the CMS Desk. I can very easily just change the properties of the documents through the properties dialog, change the name, change description, basically change the content of the document, of course with all the functionality like spell checking, etc. So let me just change this, so I'll just type in some description for newbies. Just save it. Of course, I can manage the permissions similar way how I can manage the permissions for the entire library. I can upload new documents as I told you. So let's see, I want to upload this one. And it's there. Of course, it supports multilingual. I shall show you later. But what I wanted to show you is the WebDAV functionality. If you look at the default menu, you do not see any option to edit the application through WebDAV. That's because I am logged in through standard forms authentication. I need to enable the Windows authentication in my web config to allow for the WebDAV functionality. So I enabled it in my web config, and I go to the live site and I just refresh the page. And I also need to uncomment this. If you want to know how to enable the Windows authentication, you can very simply go to my blog on our DevNet site, and if you go to my blog, setting up Windows authentication is about how you do it, what are the things you need to think about. So now I enabled the Windows authentication, and I basically requested that whole website requests me to be logged in. Now if I refresh the website, I should be logged in automatically, because of course Kentico supports Windows authentication. So I'm logged in under my local domain name, local domain account. If I go to document library, because now with the Windows authentication the WebDAV is enabled, I have the edit option. It says edit in client application, and it basically gives me the option to edit it directly in Word. So I just hit the end. The browser asks me if I really want to do this. It's the security thing that the browser does. And you cannot see it, but I'll show you. It opened on my other screen. So let me just relocate it. And maybe I'll close it and open it again here. So I open it. It opens directly within the Word document, within the Word application. And of course I can modify it. So I'll just type in modified document. If I hit save now, it gets saved directly to my website. You can see it's saving to a distant, well, oh yeah, you could see that. It's saving directly to my distant location. Actually, distant is my localhost at this point. And if I close it, and if I look at the document, just open it the regular way, you can see it was modified. And this is very useful for the editing from the UI too, because it gives me power to basically edit things the way I want to. If I go to my CMS desk, I can do a very simple thing. Well, maybe first I go to my home page. You can see is our employee of the month, which is Jennifer. And let's say I just want to just update the image within some WebDAV application. As I stated, Paint.NET application supports WebDAV 2, so I can directly open this image in Paint.NET. And of course I can do some adjustments. I could draw some mustache in there, but that will be nice, and just draw a little sun next to Jennifer. I'll save it. Again, it gets saved to my website, to my internet. And if I refresh the website, close it, I can get the image updated. So it's not only useful for updating documents, things that your company needs, it's also important. It's also interesting for developers, graphic designers, because you can basically leverage the Paint.NET functionality as your image editor directly in the CMS itself. Of course, on your local machine where you need to set up the Windows authentication, where you develop it. So that's about WebDAV. It basically allows you to open and edit the documents directly from the website. The next thing I wanted to show you are the departments. Departments are special document types that provide some more functionality than standard document types, and they provide you the functionality to basically structureize the website according to a company hierarchy. This part is done from the admin UI because you do not want just anyone to manage your company hierarchy information. It's managed by the administrator in the CMS desk. And you basically just copy your hierarchy to it. It's template based. Each department is based on some template that you may define. And you can select in each department which parts of the template the department will have. So let's see some example. So if you look at the structure of the website, it's not very different from standard website, but you have these departments here. If you look at the template and if you look at the specific department, you can see it basically matches. The template has some documents, and that particular department has the same documents. That's because if we create a new department, which is called the document type Internet Department, I'll just call it Martin's Department. And I think I can also upload some file to my temporary files. Just any. So let me just take something from the blog, like, I don't know, this one, because I'm a technical guy, as you know. I can, of course, select which parts of the department will be included, and I can say which roles of the company will be members of the department. Departments are purely role-based, so basically I say, like, I don't know, CMS desk administrators are members of my department because I am basically the developer of this website, for example. So I select the roles, I let the CMS to prepare my department. It takes some time because it needs to copy the template, do the necessary actions, basically prepare my department together with all the media libraries, projects, things like that. And you can see my department was created as a new document. It has the structure copied from our department template. And of course it has all the pages inside. So if I just view it, there's basically an empty department for whatever I want to present, do, and things like that. What is important on departments, about departments, is that departments act as basically subsites. If you know SharePoint, you can see most of the, or a lot of this functionality is very similar to SharePoint functionality, because of course we see SharePoint as our competitor on the internet segment. So we want to provide you basically with similar functionality, so you can do the same things as effectively as with SharePoint in Kentico. So similar to SharePoint subsites, we provide subsites that are either department subsites or workgroup subsites. So this is how you create how the admin creates the department. If you look at the live site again, and if you look at some existing department, for example, this IT department that contains our sample data, so you can basically see how particular things will look like. If you go to that IT department, you can see that the style changed. The department can have its own style sheet. It can be based on your custom style sheet. Anything that you select in the department properties in here. I skipped this because I wanted to show you first how it looks like. You can basically select that the department should use specific style sheet. So let's say my department will use green one. I'll save the document, and if I go to my site and if I actually I should review it, you can see my department is green now. So it's about departments. You build sub-sites that can contain specific things for your departments, specific things related to your departments, particular departments only. The next feature, which is similar to departments, yet different, are work groups. Department, as I told you, is more hierarchy-based. So typically you have a static hierarchy, and with departments you just define which people can see which information based on in which department they are. Work groups is a different thing. Work groups are more goal-based. Work groups are not things, well, teams of people that would be somehow static, but work groups are more dynamic things, because you typically, as a company or as a department, work on particular projects, and particular projects are managed by particular people, or particular employees work on particular projects. So work groups are like temporary departments, I would say, that have all this community functionality. So you can create a work group, an ad hoc work group from your live site. You can manage the work group. You can manage the work group members. People can go, join and go. And basically the work groups are somehow self-managed by the creator of the work group or the group administrators. If you need to know something more about the community features that are all available on the internet too, because if you consider your company as a community, which is definitely a good thing, because that's how it works, you have people that interact with each other, then basically work groups are the way to provide some temporary based solutions for your projects, for your documents, for your news on particular projects. And once the project is completed, the work group can be at some point, it can be even deleted if it's not needed anymore. So we think of work groups like community groups on the internet. If you look at work groups, you'll see it's very similar as departments. So we go back to main portal. There's always a back to main portal button if you are on the sub site. Let me close the preview mode. So if we go to work groups, you'll see that from the external viewer perspective, it basically looks very similar. If we go to particular work group, which again, this Microsoft Office Upgrade work group is the one containing the sample data, you can see that again, this work group provides a subsite. This work group provides some features, some controls, and as the administrator of the workgroup, I can basically manage what it contains. I can just take those widgets and I can move them wherever I want. I can configure them if I want. And basically I can tell what should be displayed on this particular workgroup because I'm the administrator of the workgroup. So, for example, in this latest blog posts, it allows me to set the design of it through containers, through web part containers, actual widget containers in this wording, and how many documents should be displayed. Of course, there is more. Typical thing on the homepage is that you just provide some summary of the new information. The workgroups, of course, provide the management to the administrators, so we can basically manage them the standard way. If you know the community solution, it's basically the very same thing. You can manage the workgroups as you can manage the community groups. If you do not know the community solution, just know that you can basically manage members, permissions. You can manage the projects, which is another new feature I'll show you. You can manage media libraries, forums, polls, and the workgroup as a whole. Similar to the department, you can use, select what will be the theme of the particular workgroup. You have the ability to choose from the site themes that your designer provides. Okay, so this is the workgroup. As I said, it's more project-based, more goal-based than departments. Departments are more hierarchy-based. You will see the difference in the projects topic, which is the next one, the project management. Project management is, I do not want to say simple because it's not simple in the background. It's simple to use module. It provides you the basic functionality for managing the projects. And managing the project is typically assigning the tasks to people and seeing the status of the tasks, potentially remind them that they need to do something, remind them automatic, so they can get automatically reminded that they are already past due, and things like that. Basically manage the projects. You are probably, if you are some larger company, you are probably used to have some project management in place. The projects can be of three types. Project can be tied to a department. The project can be tied to a workgroup. And the project can be just ad hoc. Oh, sorry, there's a typo. Ad hoc project is basically meant to provide you the option to manage your own website development. Because even if you, for example, develop a website that is meant for a customer and it's some company website, and you cannot provide some page with the project management on the live site, Kentico CMS allows you to simply manage the projects from its own UI, from the admin UI, without the client even noticing, unless of course he goes to the project management UI in tools. So I'll show you. And the project basically provides you with a way how you can define the tasks, assign them to people, watch their progress and status, and of course, if something is wrong, send or provide automatic reminders for the projects. So let's look at how it works. I'll first go to our main site. Then I go to department because that was the first one I showed you. And for this example, I'll log in as another user, but to do that I need to disable the Windows authentication, because Windows authentication always tells me that I am Martin Hejtmanek, but I need to be somebody else logged in manually, so I'll just disable it. And I'll just go to here and log in as some other user. Actually, I do not want to log in as global admin, so you can see how this works. And I want to actually log in as Bert Summers, who is a member of some departments. Bert Summers is also CMS Disk Administrator. He is member of IT department. He is member of the Microsoft Office Upgrade work group. So basically he is able to do some actions. I should probably mention that this internet portal comes with also some sample users. So I definitely recommend you, once you implement this website, once you fill in your own data, you get rid of these users. There's like, I would say 20 example users, so we can show you the functionality, the team work, how things are assigned to different people. And of course, so this employees section, which is also very nice to have, so you can see some data, how it looks like if you have more employees, how you can basically display their personal data, display their contact information. But now, as Bert Summers, I'll want to just look at some projects. I go to my IT department website. You can see there is the projects section. And the project section basically lists the existing projects. I can go to the detail of the project. I can see all the tasks in the projects. You can see I'm the owner of the project. That's why I can basically manage the project. I can edit its properties. I can define the security of this project. Basically, I'm able to tell which users can do what within this project. And of course, I can create new tasks. As you can see, that Summers, as the owner of this project, created most of the, well, actually all of the tasks, and the tasks are assigned to different people and have different progress. If you look at the task properties, those basic fields are the estimate, which basically tells you how difficult the task is, by which time it should be done, what is current status, what is the priority, so people see which order they should implement the tasks. You can basically mark the tasks as private. Of course, you need some assignee for the task, and you can basically share your knowledge, comments on the task through description. So basically, for example, I could note like this: please do this as soon as possible. Our clients rely on it, and I just give it high priority. And you can see it goes with high priority. Okay, so this is the way how you can manage tasks. Of course, you can assign the tasks to people, so you just select the people, like Cheryl should, I don't know, bring in the dog, which is silly tasks, but may be nice to just socialize. There's fun with dogs. I have one too. And basically Cheryl knows she needs to bring the dog. How she does know it? You can see in the header up on the top of the menu that there's some notification. There is notification for the unread messages from our messaging module, which is standard. It didn't change. But there's a new notification on active tasks. If I click on it, it basically shows me my tasks. It shows me in which projects I'm a member, so I can see their progress. It shows me which tasks are assigned to me. And it shows me which tasks I owe. Basically, I can see what is the status of the tasks that I assigned to other people through here. In both of these two web parts interfaces, I can create my own personal task that is not assigned to any project, it's just for me. So this personal task may be just, do not forget to clean my room before I go home or something like that. Anything. And it isn't tied to any project, it's purely ad hoc, so it doesn't bother anyone else on the site. It's just for you. So this is how you can see your project progress, your project tasks, either assigned or that you assigned. If you look at the admin UI, because you do not necessarily need to have the live site UI, as I told you, you may just use the project management to manage your own development projects. If you go to Tools, there is the project management section, and now because I am Bert Summers, I need to log in as somebody else because Bert Summers doesn't have the access to project management. So I'll just go back as global admin. Another nice feature we have, we allow you to directly click on this link and basically go to editing of particular page you are just viewing, which is very nice. You do not need to find it in the tree structure, especially if you are somewhere deeper. So now, as a person who has permissions to manage projects from the admin UI, I can manage the projects from here. You can see there is a project network upgrade that is basically tied to a department. It's basically tied through special automatically generated name of the project. Those are the department projects. But also, if you look at the groups, which is basically the same management UI as the community groups have, there is a new option. There's a new tab called projects in there. And if I find some group that has some project, which is this Microsoft Office upgrade group, you can manage the projects of particular group too. And of course, you do not need to do it from this admin UI. You can do the same from the work groups on the live site. So let me sign in back as Bert Summers. Let me go to this work group and to its projects. Again, as I told you, Bert Summers has quite permissions on this internet, so he's again owner of this particular project, and the tasks are assigned to different people. And again, you can see progress and status of this particular project just the way you saw it on departments. As I told you, if you want to use the project management for your own tasks, you can just go directly to the admin UI and create projects there. So I'll just again log out as the admin and log in as the admin. And if I go to project management, I can create simple project that is not tied to any particular department or page. So I just create Martin's project. I'll call it project as a code name. Goal is to show you new features on the internet website. And the deadline is probably at 18 o'clock, and the start date was at 17 local time. As I told you, some people have evening. That's my case. I'll just say global admin as the owner, and the project is currently on track. I can optionally specify the project page. This means if somebody places a web part for project management on the page, this project will appear on that particular page. So I'll just save the projects, and my task would be probably introduce the topic, tell you something about i5r2, and I shouldn't forget to thank you at the end, not just yet. If you look at the tasks, I introduced the topic, so progress is 100%. It took me like, I don't know, 0.1 hours, and it's finished. And basically the same way you can see it in the admin UI, in the LifeSite UI, you can see it in the admin UI. So this doesn't appear on any page unless I set the project page. And it allows me to basically manage my projects. The project, of course, can be like implement the website for a client XYZ. So this way you can basically manage your own project within the project itself. It's very good because then you can ship the project anywhere and your tasks go with the project. You are not tied to any infrastructure, to your servers. You can just take your laptop and have your project management together with you. So the project management is pretty powerful feature. And since there is not enough time to show you all of it, I would recommend you just to go try it by yourself. I think this is probably my most favorite feature because it's not purely targeted on internet, but can be used on any occasion within the development. I'm a technical person, so I'm all about managing technical projects, so I can see potential in it. Okay, last topic, versioning without workflow. There are two new options at each workflow properties. First option, which basically provides us with the functionality, that is the topic, is the setting of the workflow called automatically publish changes. This setting basically does what it says. It means when anybody saves the document is immediately published. The workflow is still applied, but the person doesn't need to take care about publishing of the document, approving the document, or things like that. Basically, the workflow part is done for them. The versioning part is still managed, so they can leverage basically the versioning without the need to take care about any workflow. The other option, as you probably know, if you already used workflow, there still is functionality, the setting, where you specify if you want to use the check-in, check-out functionality with workflows. With the new version, with 5.5R2, there is a new setting directly at the workflow, so you can specify this setting per workflow on a workflow basis. So, for example, a new section can require check-in, check-out because it's likely to be shared by several people, while some, I don't know, company vision section doesn't need that. So the manager, the boss of the company doesn't need to take care about checking in or out the documents. So if you look at how it works, I'll first show you what we ship with the solution, which is predefined workflow called versioning without workflow. Previously there was just the default workflow. Of course you can make your own ones. And our versioning without workflow is by default set to automatically publish changes to provide you that functionality. If you look at the scopes, you can see our sample website by default uses it. And it's used on the departments section, workgroup section, document section, and the company section. So we can look at those documents to see how it behaves. What is important here is that we basically implemented this or put this into default data, so you can basically have versioning enabled by default on your internet, because it's a very typical situation. If you want to get rid of that, just delete the scopes. What I didn't mention and what I should mention about the document library, about the first topic, is my site here. The document library is available to just any page on the website. Wherever you put the document library web part, which is basically this grid with those actions, it's a part of the standard web parts. You can basically create document library. So what you do, you just put the web part on it. I can show you in the management UI. So this document library, this documents document, basically only contains several web parts of type document libraries. They are very similar to other document web parts. They have properties like where is the location of that library, where is how the permissions should be checked, how it should be cached, what is the page size, things like that. Where I'm going with this, if you can place it anywhere, you can place it to your work groups, as in this case. You can place it into your departments, as is shown here, and of course, actually departments, I wanted to go here, into your departments very easily. And of course, you can just put it on the root, on the main website to any document. It depends on you. It isn't tied to any structure of the website. That's one thing I forgot to mention before. About the versioning without workflow settings, as I told you, it's automatically applied if you install our internet website on all the document libraries, basically on the department section, workgroup section, documents, from the default website, sample website, and on the company section. That's why basically if you are working with document library, there are no approve, check-in, check-out buttons. I can show you how this changes if I go to administration. I close this one, and I don't need this one too. So if I just simply go to the workflow settings to show you the difference, if I say this workflow now doesn't automatically publish changes, if I go and edit the document, you can see it now informs me about the workflow step. If I put something in, it requires me to publish it manually. It doesn't need the approval because there are no steps, no custom steps. If there were, it would require approval. If again I disable it, enable automatic publishing, the button disappears once I save the document. Once I save the document, wanted to hit close also. The document is automatically published its new version. So this is the difference between standard workflow and versioning without workflow. It basically technically both works on the workflow. It differs in this one setting. And of course, even without the workflow steps applied, without the need for approval, we have the document history, and we can basically roll back to prior versions very easily, as we are used to from CMS Desk. So that's about this feature. Again, it seems like it's a very small feature, but there is a lot of going on in the background to ensure there is not so many, it's not too much overhead for the workflow when it's not needed. Okay, so that's pretty much all I wanted to cover. I wanted to show you the internet website with all the color themes. Those 3 themes is what we provide right now. We may provide some more color themes in future, but it's very easy to just provide your own. You just change the style sheet colors and provide your own images to it. I covered the document library module, WebDAV functionality, editing directly from your editing the documents directly from your web UI, the departments that serve as basically hierarchical representation, hierarchical subsites for a company, work groups that work as a goal-based parts, goal-based groups of people within the company for specific projects, the project management that is even more project-based, even more goal-based for particular projects, because you can have same work group working on several projects. And of course, the ability to use versioning without workflow. If you want to try this functionality, if you didn't yet, yesterday we released the version 5.5 R2, so go ahead, download it, and of course enjoy it. Let us know some feedback, how good it is, and if you have any suggestions, do not feel afraid to just post it, send it to us. We are always happy if you provide us feedback. Okay, so thank you for your attention, and if you have any answers, just type them into the question window and we'll go through them. Tom, are you there?
I am.
Okay, because, as a panelist, I do not see the question window, so if there are any questions, just let me know.
Okay. Sorry about that. So the only question that we have is around Azure. Someone had asked, I see that you have some support for Azure. Can you provide a quick overview of that?
That's a very good question. I cannot provide overview right now because actually we just delivered the package and I didn't try it yet, and other guys are probably trying it. I think our product manager at this time is preparing blog post about it, so it will definitely be published. It's a very good question because I forgot to mention it. The Azure support isn't for all of the features because there's a lot of things that need to be done, but the Azure support allows you to run instance of Kentico within the Azure project. It, of course, because of the nature of Azure, it doesn't allow you to use features that need to work with the file system. So you cannot work with media library on the fly. You cannot upload new files into media library. You cannot use the import functionality for those compilable files, that include web parts, basically the files with code that need to be compiled, because Azure package is cannot be modified on the fly, as you probably know if you know Azure. Mm-hmm. but it provides the rest of the functionality. Anything that is edited in database, no matter if it's document, if it's attachment, if it's and also objects, user management, things like that, everything can run in Azure. At this point, we are limited to a single instance because we are still working on the support to basically provide web farm within Microsoft Azure Cloud. It will be basically the complete native support will be in 6.0. I'm completely honest, I know some other solutions just say they support Azure natively, but if you look at the details, they really don't. Each of the solution is basically just showing they are able to run in Azure, but not with all the features. So I am telling you straight, you are able to run Kentico project in Azure. It's not full support, but it's good enough for standard projects if you design them right.
Okay. No, that's very fair. I mean, we're still working through with Microsoft on the final logistics, but single instance is a great opportunity to use Kentico with Azure. And then one last question is, what sort of reporting is provided on projects? I'm assuming that's related to the project management functionality.
Yeah, basically the most important report of the project is the project itself. The most important thing is that you need to see which tasks are active. So of course there is filtering for that. You need to see in which step the project is, what is the amount of the project that is done. That's basically why all this is included in the default UI. There is basically no need for a report for that. And since it may be quite difficult to address specific project, specific team tactics, we do not provide any default reports for project management because we believe the best report for it is the UI itself. But you can create your own reports with the reporting engine very easily. Things like, reporting the percentage of the tasks that needs to be done is a very simple thing. You just typing the query that groups the tasks by the count status, things like that.
Okay. And other than that, it looks like we don't have any other questions, and we're kind of right on our time mark. So I wanted to thank you, Martin, for spending some time today kind of going through this. And as Martin said, we obviously encourage everyone to go and download the latest version of Kentico CMS, CMS 5.5 R2. And as always, we love to hear feedback. You should feel free to send it over to us. We'd love to hear your thoughts and ideas, whether it's around additional sessions you'd like to see, changes to the product. We're definitely listening and always want to hear. So with that, we will go ahead and end our session. I will hopefully post the recording and our slides up in a little bit. And with that, Martin, did you have anything else?
Yeah, just my final words would be just in following days, look at the blog. There will be the Azure thing, Azure information. And of course, we are not stopping developing. There are actually two teams that already doing the development of 5.5 R2 were working on 6.0 because our next release will be major. It will be just completely extremely big version with lots of new features that takes time to implement. That's basically why 5.5 R2 isn't that big as you could probably maybe expect. So definitely in the future expect a lot of things in the next version, but go ahead and use 5.5 R2 for your internet websites. I think it's ready to use solution that provides you with all you need.
Excellent. Well, thank you everyone, and we appreciate everyone taking their time today, and